The rooster crowed at dawn. The sun rose slowly over the hills of Omu, bathing the red clay huts in golden light. Birds chopped. The smell of burning firewood filled the air. Ada woke early, as she always did. She swept the compound with a long broom, humming softly. Her mother, Mama Nkechi, stirred a pot of corn porridge over the fire. Good morning, Mama, Ada said with a smile. Morning, my daughter, her mother replied. Go and bathe your brothers, then help me prepare for the market. Ada carried warm water to the backyard, bathed her younger brothers, dressed them, and fed them porridge. She worked without complaining. Even as a child, Ada was different. With a large woven basket on her head, Ada and her mother walked through the village path to the marketplace. The villagers greeted them warmly. Good morning, Ada. Morning, Mama Nkechi. Ada would wave and smile, always polite. The basket was filled with ripe tomatoes, garden eggs, yams, and okra. Children followed her sometimes, asking for fruits. She gave them, even when it meant less money. She's the pride of Omu, people whispered, a girl with a good heart. In the market, Ada arranged their goods neatly on a mat. Her hands were swift and precise. She greeted customers with respect. Auntie Chinye, come and buy fresh okra. I will give you a special price. Uncle Obi, your wife will love these tomatoes. She gave discounts to the old and poor. She helped blind Papa Idu carry his goods across the market. The market women adored her. Even rival sellers liked her. After the market, Ada would change quickly and go to school. She always arrived before the teacher. She was top of her class. Her handwriting was neat, her answers sharp. She helped her classmates with homework. Class, who knows the capital of Sudan? The teacher would ask. Ada's hand shot up. Khartoum, sir. The teacher smiled. Excellent. She wanted to be a nurse to help others. Her dream was known by the whole village. In the evenings, Ada fetched water from the stream. She cooked, washed clothes, and read by lantern light. Her parents were proud of her. She's not like other girls, her father would say. Ada is special. And everyone agreed. One hot market afternoon, a stranger appeared. He was tall, slender, skin as smooth as river stones. He wore dark glasses and his clothes sparkled in the sun. He walked slowly, like a man with power. He stopped at Ada's stall. What is your name? He asked. Ada, she replied. He bought everything. Paid 10 times more. This is too much, she said. Keep it, he said. A gift. The next day he came again. This time he stayed longer. He asked questions. Do you live nearby? Do you always help your mother? Ada was polite but careful. He bought more and paid too much again. As he left, Ada found a small folded paper in her basket. Meet me by the silk tree after moonrise. Tell no one. Ada was restless. She hid the note under her mat. Her heart beat fast. Curiosity and fear battled in her chest. She said nothing to anyone. That night, when her family was asleep, she crept out quietly. She walked barefoot under the moon. The forest whispered. At the silk tree, he stood waiting. Welcome to your destiny, he said. What do you mean? She asked. He turned, revealing red eyes and sharp fangs. A black cloak billowed behind him. Ada stepped back. Why are you afraid? He said. I bring you a gift. I don't want it, she cried. He appeared behind her suddenly. You will live forever. You will never grow old, never be weak. No, please. He bit her neck. The night swallowed her scream. Ada woke in bed, weak, pale. Are you all right? Her mother asked. She nodded slowly. In school, the teacher's words made no sense. She felt dizzy. Her stomach growled with a strange hunger. On her way home from the market, she saw a chicken stray. Her body moved fast, unnaturally fast. She snatched it, ran into the bush and bit its neck. Warm blood filled her mouth. Her eyes closed. It felt wonderful. She walked home smiling. Every night she fed chickens, goats. Blood was her new food. She moved without sound. No lock could hold her back. The animals began to vanish. The animals are vanishing, the farmers cried. The elders held a meeting under the iroko tree. Something dark walks among us, the chief priest said. From today, we lock every pen with chains and iron padlocks, the village chief ordered. Ada heard. She was afraid and angry. She could not feed. She grew weak, her eyes sunken, her strength fading. At the market, she dropped tomatoes. Customers scolded her. You're no longer the sweet Ada we know, they said. She said nothing. She remembered a woman who lived alone near the river. No one will miss her, Ada whispered to herself. That night, she went. The woman heard her. Who is there? She called. Ada didn't answer. She pounced. The woman struggled, but Ada's strength was too much. She beat her, drank, smiled. The next morning, drums beat loud. Evil among us, the town crier shouted. The old woman is dead. People gathered. The chief spoke. This is not a beast. This is something more. Fear gripped everyone. Ada sat in her room, silent, the blood still warm in her dreams. She knew they would soon find her. She had become the very thing the village feared. That night, she packed a small cloth sack, some food, her mother's old shawl, a small mirror. She kissed her sleeping brothers, whispered goodbye, and slipped out into the night. She walked past farms, forests, streams. She didn't know where she was going, only that she could not stay. She found shelter under an abandoned hut. She cried. She sang a lullaby to herself. I didn't ask for this, she whispered. Back in Omu, a group of hunters gathered. We must find the beast, the village chief said. They followed footprints, clues, a broken tomato near the silk tree. Other villages heard of Omu's terror. An evil spirit in girl's form, some said. A cursed child, others whispered. In a small stream, Ade saw her reflection, pale, eyes glowing faintly. Who am I now? She asked herself. She wept. Far from Omu, Ada vanished into the forest path. Her journey had just begun. And I, the one who saw it all, tell you. It was late afternoon. The sun had dipped low behind the trees. A little girl named Ijoma walked along the narrow path home from school, swinging her school bag, singing softly. Suddenly, a rustling in the bushes. She stopped. Who's there? She called nervously. From the shadows, Ada emerged. Her eyes glowed faintly. Her dress was stained. Her steps were slow, like something not fully alive. Ijoma froze. Auntie Ada? Ada said nothing. Her body trembled. She was hungry, desperately hungry. But something inside her hesitated. She stepped forward. Ijoma screamed and fled. Her little feet flew down the path. She did not stop until she reached the palace of the village king. A creature! Ijoma cried. A woman with glowing eyes. She tried to grab me. The palace guards brought her before the king. The elders gathered quickly. Describe her, one elder said gently. It was Ada, she whispered. But not Ada. She looked dead. Gasps filled the hall. The king stood. Send messengers, summon the priest, we must prepare. At the shrine, the priest poured libations and beat his chest. A child of the night walks among us, he said. Holy water was blessed. Crosses carved from sacred wood were passed out. Drums of warning beat into the night. She will return. Evil always does. In a distant forest clearing, Ada crouched under a tree. Her hands were shaking. She could still hear Ijoma's scream echo in her ears. I couldn't do it, she whispered. I couldn't harm a child. Ike's voice returned to her memory. Feed, or you will die. Tears streamed down her face. She didn't want to live like this, but hunger clawed at her soul. Lightning split the sky. Thunder roared. The wind carried with it a single word. I can't live like this, Ada cried. Tears streamed down her face. This is only the beginning. The forest was wet with morning dew. Ada sat beneath a wide palm tree, her knees pulled to her chest. The wind whispered through the leaves, and still her heart was not at peace. Her dress was torn, her skin pale, her soul haunted. She had walked for days, hiding from the sun, feeding on wild animals when she could. But each time, the hunger returned stronger. Her ears had grown sharp, her eyes sharper still. She could smell fear in the air. She could feel the beating hearts of things far away. And yet, she wept. In a nearby village, whispers began. They say something drinks blood in the forest. Children should stay indoors after sunset. An old hunter named Papa Nado remembered the tales of creatures like this. He told the elders, we must send word to the great priestess of Urashi. She knows the ways of the night beings. A message was sent, and soon a woman with cowries in her hair and fire in her eyes arrived. She carried a long staff and wore a robe made of eagle feathers. She stepped into the forest without fear. Ada, weak from not feeding, sensed her. But this woman was different. Her scent was strong like bitter herbs and ash. Ada watched from behind a tree as the woman lit a fire and began to chant. O daughter of dusk, O cursed child, I call you by your true name. Come. Ada stepped into the clearing, trembling. The woman looked at her, long and hard. You are not lost, she said, only buried, beneath hunger, beneath shame. I didn't ask for this, Ada cried. I didn't want this life. The priestess nodded. I know, but the one who turned you, he stole more than your blood. He stole your choice. Can it be undone? Ada asked. There is a way, the priestess said, but it comes at a cost. I'll pay it, Ada whispered. You must return to the place where it began. The silk tree. There, under the moon, you must face him. If you destroy him, the curse will break. If you fail, you remain this way forever, or die. Ada looked up. Her heart pounded, but her eyes burned with something new. Hope. She thanked the priestess and set out, retracing her steps, through rivers, through dark paths, past sleeping animals and startled owls. And when she reached the silk tree, he was there, waiting. I knew you would return, he said. You were made for this. I was made for more, Ada replied. You stole my life. I'm here to take it back. He laughed. The sky turned dark. Clouds swirled. His eyes glowed red. His cloak billowed like smoke. Then they clashed. Ada moved faster than she ever had, but he was stronger. He threw her into the roots of the tree. She screamed. Blood oozed from her arm. You are nothing without me, he said. You are mine. No, she whispered. I am Ada, daughter of Omu. I am not yours. She grabbed a shard of broken mirror from her bag, the same one she had packed that night she fled. The moonlight caught it. She turned and thrust it into his heart. A scream tore through the forest. His body burst into ash. The night grew silent. Ada collapsed. When she woke, birds were chirping. The sun touched her skin, but it did not burn. Her hands no longer shook. Her eyes no longer glowed. She was human again. She returned to Omu quietly. The village was still afraid. Rumors still danced like fireflies. But when the priestess came and told the elders all that had happened, they wept. Ada was brought to the village square. Her mother held her and would not let go. Her father knelt and kissed her feet. The people sang. The drums beat. She had returned, not as a monster, but as a survivor, as a warrior. Years passed. Ada became a healer. She used her pain to help others. She told her story to warn children never to follow strange voices in the night. And though she smiled again, and danced and lived, she never forgot the hunger, the shadow, the silk tree, but she had faced the darkness, and won. And I, the one who saw it all, now tell you, when next you see the moonlight catch the leaves of a silk tree, remember Ada, the girl who died, the girl who lived, the girl who fought her fate and wrote a new one. And may her story keep the darkness away from your door.